But then he says, okay. Let me try this again. I'm going to put it back out, and this time, the skin is going to be wet, and the ground is going to be dry. How about that? Can you do that? And what Gideon is doing is something that we all do. We try to define the terms for God. Define the terms. I'll do this, Lord, if this is lined up and if that is lined up and if this is the right situation and all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, give me a sign. You don't define the terms for God. You know, it's like kids do this to their parents all the time. It's like, I will take out the trash if you give me $20. It's like, what are you talking about? I gave you breath. Go take out the trash. I used to get it all the time. That's why I know. Try to negotiate. There's no negotiate. And so we move to the next scene as all of these troops, all of these guys have gathered together. 32,000 of them. That's a lot of people. That's a lot. 32,000. I mean, these were tough dudes. I mean, back then, just people were tough. People are wimpy now. But back then, they were like, gardening and killing animals and stuff. I never killed an animal. Maybe a spider. But they were tough. There's 32,000 of them, and they're ready to do battle, and God says, guess what? It's too many. And you got to be thinking, if I was Gideon, I'd be like, too many? It's not enough. He says, tell everybody who's scared. Tell all the cowards, go home. So 22,000 leave. Most of the time when you're doing something, the majority of people are scared out their mind. It's like, I remember doing this zip line and everybody was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. It's like, come on. Just because you have a lot of people with you doesn't mean you're going to have success. So he says, okay, you got 10,000, but guess what? It's still too many. 10,000 against an army with camels, and they're impossible to count like the sand on the seashore. That's a lot of people. And the writers sometimes exaggerate it, but he's trying to make a point. They're outnumbered. So the Lord says, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to separate out everybody. We're going to tell them to get some water, take a break. And the ones who get on their knees and drink the water like a dog, they can't stay. And every time I read this, I'm like, who is that thirsty? It's like, man. The ones who stayed got down on a knee and just took it and cuffed it in their hand. And some people say, hey, it's because, if you take it in your hand, you're alert. That's a real soldier. But I just think God was trying to separate people. He's just trying to whittle things down. And so from 32,000 to 10,000, and now we have 300. Not Sparta, though. This is the original 300. Everything else is a copy. You have 300 men against an army as numerous as the sand on the seashore. And if I'm Gideon, I'm like, okay, you set me up, Lord. What's up? First you tell me all this stuff, oh, mighty warrior. And then you give me 300 men against all these other people. God says, okay, I think you need a little bit more encouragement. Go to the camp and spy things out. And you're going to hear some encouragement. And so Gideon goes to the camp. He spies on these Midianites, and they're talking. And one of them says, I had a dream last night that a big loaf of barley bread came down a mountain and hit a tent and knocked it over. And that sounds kind of nuts, like he had too much barley bread. But the other guy he's talking to says, you know what? This is nobody else but Gideon. Barley bread was for poor people. And so he equated it to the least, the underdog. It's going to take down our whole army. And so Gideon's like, all right. He's finally like, yes, I can do this. He runs back and he gives the army trumpets, empty jars, and torches. Now, I'm no soldier or general or anything like that, but that doesn't sound like the best arsenal to have. Trumpets, empty jars, and torches. I've seen the History Channel, Lock and Load. Never seen that being displayed. He says, look, I'm going to give you these trumpets and empty jars and torches and watch what I do. And it's still nighttime. He says, when I blow the trumpet, you follow me and blow your trumpets and do everything else that I do. And so you can imagine it's 300 men. It's pitch black. They're on top of this mountain overlooking all of these camels and all of these tents. People as numerous as the sand on the seashore. Could imagine how, as much as I got all that, if I got all that confirmation, I still would be like putting the trumpet like, and he finally blows the trumpet. He breaks the water jar. And he tells the army to shout for the Lord and for Gideon. And so you have trumpets blasting through the night. Can you imagine what these Midianites must have felt? 300 trumpets. And it's quiet. It's not like here you got cars going by. It's quiet. And then you hear all of these trumpets. And then the water jars. And you look up and you see all of these torches. All these lights, and you hear all of this shouting. And what do the Midianites do? They wake up and they start killing each other. And it sounds crazy, but a lot of times I wake up, like right after I wake up, especially from a crazy dream, and I do some crazy things. One night I thought there was like a raccoon in our bedroom, and I jumped up, I almost stepped on Yvette. I ran all the way across to the other side of the room. Or if you like tickle somebody and they'll slap you. And so they get up, start stabbing each other, killing each other. Most of them leave and run. Gideon's like, we got to get those guys too. So he blows the trumpet again, calls in another tribe, and they sweep up the rest so they don't get past the river. And Gideon discovers the secret to success. And the secret to success was not his own ability. The secret to success was not in his personality. The secret to success was not in how many men he had. The secret to success was not his warrior ability, his money. The secret to success was that he heard God and trusted him enough to do what he said. That's the secret to success. A lot of times we think success is way out there. One day when I get this type of house, or one day when this college debt is paid, or one day when I find the right one.